Welcome to Minot Talk.
Good morning. We're
Thursday
back.
morning, 9 a.m.
We're here.
9:01.
9:01. Yeah, we started
That's
at
right.
9. Guess what happened, apparently?
Apparently, you're going to go with this. Allegedly.
I've been told.
Factually, we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube on Tuesday.
What the heck? What's that mean?
That means somebody's getting a little less hair over there.
That is going to
And for
happen.
good reason, too.
Yeah.
'Cause you have a lot of it right now.
Exactly. It's
So-
been a few months.
Too long.
I've done some thinking, and if I'm not mistaken, the last time I got my haircut was on April 1st. Do you remember April 1st? Yeah, I do too.
Tyler has just bad days for haircuts.
Did.
No, this is incredible.
Yes, thank you for everyone. Big shout out to everyone. Thank you all for watching, tuning in twice a week with us, listening to us yap, talk about all the stuff Minot in North Dakota. Genuinely appreciate it. It's been a fun journey.
We do. It has been a great journey, and we're just getting started here. We're not done yet.
So we've only just begun.
We've only just begun.
And guess what? I've got breaking news this morning too.
What's that?
It is breaking national news out of ESPN and Shams. It's an NBA story.
Okay.
The head coach of the Portland Trailblazers,
yes, I
Chauncey
saw this.
Billups, as well as Miami Heat's starting point guard Terry Rozier, have been arrested by the FBI on gambling charges.
That's why
That's gonna-
Trailblazers have been so.
Bad the last few years. Like,
Terrible.
not only did they have bad rosters, but their coach has been actively selling games, apparently.
You want to know what the nickname for the Trailblazers used to be?
What?
It's not very nice.
Uh-oh. Let's hear it.
Jailblazers.
The jailblazers. Oh, yeah. That was like 25 years ago, and they had Dennis Rodman, or not Dennis Rodman, Scottie
Rasheed
Pippen
Wallace.
and Rasheed Wallace. And,
Rasheed Wallace wasn't even that bad of a dude.
oh, no, they weren't
took
that
some
bad.
flack.
Yeah.
That's epic, dude.
Yeah, I saw that one coming into the studio this morning, and I was like, I got to at least mention that. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
you
wild. I
do.
remember hearing about this probe a few months back.
Got to pick on another one of Jonathan's sports
Are you
teams.
a Trailblazers fan?
I grew up in
Oregon,
west side of Portland.
I guess it makes sense. I'm sorry for that one. Hey, at least
Yeah.
they've had some good teams a few times.
Okay.
Poor Brandon
Yeah,
Roy
when-
and Greg Oden. That was
Yeah.
that could have been a good team.
We have won about 5 championships on paper.
Yeah, they won one, didn't they, back in like the
Yeah,
70s?
Bill Walton.
Yeah.
If Roy and Odin, like Roy was,
He was the man,
Dude,
for a
that guy
couple
was
years.
good.
He was it. And his knees fell apart.
yeah, but they knew about that the whole time. That's what's so epic about that
It
draft
was a
class.
degenerative thing.
Is they knew about Odin's knees and they knew about Roy's knees, and they took them both. And Roy's knees worked for them for a couple years, and Odin's knees never did.
Yeah, like and the Oden one too. It was he was the first pick in the draft.
Yeah, right ahead of Kevin Durant.
Yeah, who is
Which, if you know the lore of the Portland Trailblazers in drafting, they also passed on another guy by the name of Michael Jordan. They didn't take that guy. Instead, they chose Sam Bowie. And I'm sure everybody knows who that is because he was also
he like broke his legs too, didn't he?
he was another big man. So they copied the same recipe like many years later and found out that, it's just doomed. Don't be a big man and go to Portland.
In short, don't be a Trailblazers fan.
No, that is not it. That is not what we're talking about. We're at least not T-Wolves fans who, we got a Let's Go Wolves fan. So
There it is.
So I'm about to say stuff and people are not going to be.
Yeah, Wolves
But-
came back against the Blazers last
Yeah,
night.
you guys are good now. You guys are good now, okay? But here's the deal. This is what I was going to say.
Chauncey sold the game last night.
He probably did. Got arrested the next morning. Bad deal. He did such a bad job. Nonetheless, I mean, since KG, there was a lot of rough years for Wolves fans as well.
Yeah.
You guys know what it's about.
I am a Wolves fan, but keep in mind the Lakers are my first team.
Yeah.
I know. It's the original.
There's also been a lot of
team.
rough years for the Lakers. Lakers are basically the Yankees of basketball, where
Effectively.
they spend a lot of money and don't necessarily get the results that they should.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Yep. No, yep.
See the thing with basketball though, there's at least a salary cap and a hard cap in there, where baseball doesn't have a hard cap and they can just continuously spend. So
Right. Yeah. No. Well, they
at least
changed
in
that. They used to be that luxury cap where you could just hang on the luxury cap the whole time, and people were doing that.
Yeah, that's where a lot of that's why you're not seeing the super teams like you did from 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's harder to build around them. But hey, that's the basketball talk for today.
I'm a secret Golden State Warriors fan.
Oh, gross.
I joined one bandwagon because I like terrible teams. So I joined a couple bandwagons.
Okay, I get that for the Lakers one.
Yeah,
that's my one.
Yeah. So I don't hate the teams that everybody else hates that I don't are the Warriors and the Celtics.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right.
Gotta love some, but dude, what's up with, if we're going to continue that, which we shouldn't, we should jump to more relevant things that we have. But if you're going to continue this conversation, what's up with the amount of Achilles injuries that are popping up?
Yeah.
Because Celtics have felt that.
They have.
Tatum and obviously
Tyrese Halliburton, Durant a couple years ago.
When he's
Damian
on the Warriors.
Lillard last year with the Bucks.
Yeah, that's because he left Blazers. If he would have stayed there.
He's back now. Yeah. Chauncey's gone.
On my mind. All right. What a deal. What an article pull there. All right, lots of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I took us on a detour to start there. That's my bad.
No, you're great. It was a good one. We're going to recap some more. We got of City Council. We have some clips that we can play there. Mm-hmm. We obviously are going to talk more about the journey of reaching 1,000 subs. Yep. Kyler joined when we had his first live that he joined for. We were at 200 subs according to my math.
Oh, man.
800 subs later.
It's been a crazy journey.
Why'd you become interested in maybe doing some stuff at the Decoding?
Man, so let's rewind to like last January, February. I obviously a bit of a political buff here. Love the scene. And so I was looking for some stuff on the upcoming North Dakota election cycle. And all of a sudden, on YouTube, I find this account that is posting interviews with like every state legislative candidate that they could. And it was this Starman guy who's doing some great interviews. And I was like, this is pretty awesome. And then I looked into Dakota and I'm like, okay, I've heard of these guys before. I've seen them kind of around on social media. So I send an email saying, hey, love what you guys do. If you're interested in help or anything with covering city council, anything like that, I'd love to help out. And Jonathan reached back out. And
how long did it take to get a response? Was it pretty fast or not?
A couple days. Yeah, then we were going to meet. Then we were going to meet up, and it didn't happen. Then we finally did meet up
to reschedule.
Yeah, it happened.
Classic Jonathan.
It is,
especially that time of my life.
Yeah, and it was perfect. It worked out great. And
hey, Jeff says he would tune into NBA Talk with us.
Oh gosh, I love it.
So we might have to have an NBA Talk segment as the season progresses.
I'm ready.
Yeah, no, that was epic time.
I hit you up and we met like twice before our first ever podcast here, maybe three times.
Was it just that couple times? Because I know that originally you just started covering city council, and then eventually I was like, I feel like if we're gonna go and do anything, we got to start doing lives.
Yep. Like it was.
And you're like, yeah, I actually been thinking something similar.
Yep. I think I wrote like that one article, my first article, and I got some flack for it.
Yeah, he did.
Literally the very first article I wrote.
That's right. I remember that phone call. I was like, what are we doing over here?
I just put
first major flag that I'd gotten.
And it's like article 1 from me.
Yeah. That was a good time.
That was fun.
Turned into these lives. Yeah. Started out where we'd have a guest on that would replace your seat.
Yeah.
And then finally we got, part of the problem was if you go back and look at those videos way back then, we had the tall round table. And it was really hard to get 3 people around that thing.
I'm too fat for that thing.
Yeah, I don't know. If you go back at that, you look skinnier too.
Do I? I don't know about that.
No, you do. I'm not, no lie, bro. Hair. It could be the hair, but you look a little thinner. Although you still look great. I'm not shaming anybody here.
But no,
life continued on.
Yep.
Eventually,
we built.
You had a permanent seat at the table.
Yep. You let me sit in officially, and we rolled through last summer. Did our first major live event was that the primary primary election.
That's right. That was before that,
where we went live for like 3 hours.
Yeah, that actually was. We put in so much work for that one.
Yeah,
we had
a ton of statewide interviews.
Ton of guests. Yeah. Yep. And that was coming on the heels of doing all the interviews that we did throughout the state. We had the chair of the DNC on. We had the chair of the ND.
DNC and ND.
Yeah, it's not even the DNC, is it?
It's the ND.
Chair of the Democratic ND or
Dem
NPL.
There we go.
I messed it all up. Chair of the Dem NPL, chair of the ND GOP. had both of them on. We had legislators on. It was a good deal.
Yeah.
A lot of great things.
That was fun. Then, you had the big property tax
We
debate.
had the big property tax debate. That one you weren't on, but that was because
I was working the booth in the back.
he was working the booth, and in that one we had a moderator on.
Yeah.
And so that was a little bit different style deal.
It was a whole different ballgame with that. That was fun.
Yeah.
After that, we kind of rolled into
we did a live on the Dunseith debacle.
Yep.
That was another big live that we did.
Dunseith stuff rolled after that, and then
we went down to Dunseith, but we had the two national.
Yep, Joe
figures
Jacobson
on.
and Pearson,
Yeah.
and then rolled into legislative cycle and all that fun stuff. The police department investigation, and then the whole mayoral saga that we've had this year, and
What a time.
the debate. That was
The debate was a blast.
That was bucket list stuff for me.
Yeah, that was a good time. And I mean, no guarantees, right? Because there's a lot of time between now and then, but we definitely want to do something more in this next cycle that's coming up fast.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden budget season's over, so guess what? It's time to start looking ahead to the
It's time
next,
to talk about liquor license caps and election cycles,
Yeah.
and maybe they play together.
They might. Yeah, that folks is called foreshadowing.
Yeah. So one thing though that might come before then is election day.
Yeah.
There is an election day, even though it doesn't affect North Dakota.
There is a November election. Yep.
Yep, like other years. And so rumor has it, we're working on details still, but rumor has it we're going to be going live, providing that North Dakota coverage, providing some national coverage from a North Dakota point of view.
Yeah. Like there's a couple big ones are the New Jersey and Virginia gubernatorial races.
Yeah.
The attorney
Virginia just has a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the attorney general race in Virginia is crazy. And then, of course, the mayoral race in New York City. They just had their final debate last night.
Who's going to win that?
It'd probably be Mom Donnie.
Isn't that going to be incredible?
It will be. Siloa is hilarious, but I mean, he doesn't stand a chance in shot in the dark.
Yep.
Then, I mean, Cuomo's Cuomo.
Should he drop out?
No, not at this point. If he was going to do it, he should have done it like a month or two ago.
Okay. Because they're telling him drop out so that way Cuomo has a chance.
Yeah. But, hey, that's what people of New York want. They'll get a shot with it.
Yep. That'll be an interesting deal. So that could be, or that is planned to be happening on Election Day. We'll get you more details on that soon, but we'll have some state people and maybe even some people not from the state, maybe
See
national.
what happens. Things are in the works. The Starman's working his magic in the background.
We're doing our best out here. So that's some exciting stuff. That's enough about us.
Yeah, that was too much, I think.
Yeah, too much down memory lane. All right, let's get talking about some important stuff for the city of Minot. I think we can lead off with city council and the liquor license discussion that's been happening. Basically, so there's this liquor license cap, and there's been this great discussion about the entire ordinance and rewriting it, making it more applicable for today's environment. Basically, the feedback that we're starting to really strongly hear from bar owners, at least from the public comments portions, is that, hey, you know what? I don't want it changed at all. That's kind of the message that they're sending right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's becoming progressively unexpected, honestly. That is not, basically, there's not a desire for anything to change. That's the message that I'm hearing. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like. So some of the things that have been talked about is going and changing the separate club license.
Yep.
That kind of got shot down.
Yeah.
Another thing, creating an off-sale license. And that one's a really big discussion.
It directly got shot down via vote. However, it was still instructed to the staff to keep that in the next draft.
Right.
As switching up those off-sale licenses.
The council was nervous to make decisions, or nervous is the wrong word, hesitant to make decisions on 6.5, which was the ordinance as a whole, without getting concrete direction on what they're doing with caps. And so that's why it was shot down, but it's more shot down like, this may be something that we want to do, but not right now.
Yep. Like they want to keep this probably as a thing, but they didn't want to have it definitively decided as of yet Tuesday at that stage.
One of the things that's interesting, in my opinion, is like, why don't we just get rid of these caps and just go to allow money be the barrier to entry? And we have a clip that's from Tony Mueller,
Friend of the show. Shout out.
and he talks about what that payment structure looks around the state. So we'll go, if all goes well, we'll go ahead and play that clip.
For example, in Grand Forks, the town that apparently we're trying to emulate, they don't have a cap, but they charge $70,000 for our similar retail license. Their supper club license is $32,000 for less than 100 seats, 70 grand, excuse me, for more than 100 seats, as well as other requirements like being required to order a food item, having the kitchen open at all times while operating, and no gaming machines, and so on. Fargo, the same license type we have, is $150,000. Supper clubs are $100,000. Bismarck just made 4 more licenses available of our type, the full retail, and the minimum bid was $200,000.
So as you can see that around this day, there's some very expensive barriers to entries to get in.
Yeah.
And we had Alderwoman Olson on, and she talked a little bit about this stuff as well. But there was a feeling Pittner no longer was, I should use the word stuck, but no longer was an advocate for the Pittner plan, because there was a couple of different plans that were proposed during the original one. One was the Pittner plan, which was basically get rid of caps, refund money, and provide value over 20 years, and then get a low license fee.
Yep. Lower barrier of entry kind of thing. Yep.
Right. And he was on board with the black plan, which was keep a high barrier to entry on that fee to get a license.
Yep.
And so he was joining that. So there was a chance that black, or a form of that black proposal, could gain momentum. And it didn't.
No, well, yeah, not enough at least, because the way it sounded, Alderman Mike Hayes was also in favor of that plan as well. He was one of the ones that essentially voted to remove the cap, and he would have been more in favor of that black proposal.
I see.
And I think that was, the general consensus among people. If there had to be a change, that was probably the direction it should go. But obviously it didn't end up going that route, and I don't know how that would have played out necessarily. Obviously nothing would have changed, on Tuesday night had they actually moved to the black plan at that point, but there would have had to be the actual,
way more discussion.
Yeah, there would have been probably still 2 more readings with the actual ordinance getting put into place at that point. But seeing it play out, I think they probably made the right call.
All right, so keeping the cap in place, that's the right call.
That is, yeah. That's the call they made, and I think based off public reaction from the bar owners and just sheer not wanting to have to rock that boat too much, I think that was the right call.
Yeah, I generally agree with that. I think this is where I disagree on that, though. I do go back to that argument. Where is this a place that city should be in? And I understand, well, the city got involved in this a long time ago, and so something has to be done. Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, let's figure that out. Do I think that we should is there a way that we can get around this without having to pay millions of dollars out? I think so. And I think that is removing that cap, but having a $100,000, $150,000
entry fee.
Yeah, fee for the license. And then suddenly some of them are going to get a devalued, even going based off the last or an average of the last licenses issued, something like that, where it's the city imposed. If you, again, and I've said this many times, if you went and bought this license off of a secondary market, I'm sorry, that's not the city's responsibility. You felt like that was a good investment. Otherwise you would not have made that.
Sure.
Or at least that's the way that should have worked.
Generally speaking, at least. Yeah.
So I feel like it would be nice to see the cap go away still, and have some type of monetary barrier to entry that was substantial enough that you and I would not just go buy a liquor license just for the fun of it. Yeah. What you can't do, you have to serve liquor within 365 days is what we
did find that out.
So there's more stipulations than that, but I think you can understand the point that we're trying to make there. Though there is another concern, and this is a concern that I was kind of bringing up on Tuesday, and maybe you even have felt something similar. It was brought up specifically by local bar owner of Arnie's 2.0.
Supper club license. If you change what they want to do in the supper club license, you just diluted our license anyway. you've been diluting them time after time after time. When you give people the ability to sell liquor or beer and wine at a cookie store, and I don't have a problem with these businesses, but the council has just, how do you say it? Just went along with everybody, what people wanted to do.
So the point that's brought there that I think is a really good point is whatever happens, council needs to be careful about diluting the licenses that are already in place. And so there's a solution that we talked about on Tuesday, and that's the off-sale license and separating that where you can just buy that. So that would allow a major player to come in, such as the one that was brought up at council was Kroger's. They'd be able to buy this off-sale license, be able to sell alcohol at their store. We saw Target do this. That's the greatest recent example of this.
Walmart Marketplace would be other examples of places that have that license.
That have it already in place. They'd be able to do this, and they'd be able to get a special license for it. But the concern from the people that already own licenses is that's cool, but you just diluted our license. So while you did not take away our cap, while you did not go and do anything like that, you took value away from it because now there's a way around needing it. That was even someone commented on our last video. That was a part of a bar or bar owner or however they're connected to that, stating something similar on those lines. And I think that's something that's really important that council has to be aware of and be considering as they go through this.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's one of those things that even say you were to go down that route, obviously in theory, you're probably opening up, 6, 7 more licenses. But by doing that in that one big block, all of a sudden, like you said, you're starting to devalue those already current holders now. Now that you have this much more, coming onto the market, all of a sudden what everybody else has becomes just that much less valuable at that point. And again, one thing that goes back to the start of this whole conversation months ago is, you can argue, should it be that way or not? And
right,
maybe it shouldn't, but it still is, and it's going to be. And to change it away from that would be incredibly, maybe not difficult, but time consuming, and it would be a heck of a process to get through that.
Yeah, I think my question with it all is this, we've heard the input from the bar owners, and that's really good input. I'm thankful that they showed up to these meetings and they've been actively involved. But let's take a step.
Cohesively, too.
Say that again?
Cohesively, on the same page.
Yeah, together. Yeah. They've been very together. But let's take a step back. And why are we even doing this exercise? What is the long-term goals for this exercise? What are we trying to change in the city? Determine if that needs change. And if it is, then honestly, if it's the best thing for the city of Minot, then we need to figure out a plan to get to there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that's fair. Like,
to be clear, I want to hear what you had to say, but to be clear, that's not to put a slap in the face of all the bar owners.
No.
It's saying this is what we see as best for the city of Minot as a whole. How can we make it where you guys are comfortable with this as well?
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because you look out over time too. And I think before I go there, one thing that's on that same board, I think, was the Pittner plan that kind of tried to flesh that out a little bit by putting like that 20-year kind of time frame on it. Like, it's nothing's going to drastically change. We're not paying out everybody overnight kind of thing. And that's the big thing. It's not something that's going to be able to change overnight, likely. I mean, you can, but drastic changes like that to a system this large is probably going to see some not great ramifications come from it.
Right.
So I would really rather see them, if they do end up trying to fix it, because like you said, if this is something that, the city of Minot determines isn't good for Minot as a whole, then they probably have to do something about it. But on the flip side, maybe having the cap in place as is the best route forward. Right. And, the free market perspective is always going to fight that. But generally, for Minot specifically as a whole, maybe this is the best route.
Right. And to be clear, I don't buy into the argument when we get into the free market stuff that the bar owners are afraid of competition. That's not what I mean by that. And I do agree with the idea that there should be some type of restriction placed on this controlled substance.
No, that's fair.
Where there are other restrictions around it. This is not something that is just readily available anywhere, and that's for good reason. that was definitely some key points. So there was another big time discussion that was had at council about sales tax.
Sales tax, yeah, not
which
property.
Secondarily affected.
Yeah, on
property
the
tax.
heels of property tax discussions.
We're going to talk about that and more
Whole
right
bunch
after
more.
a break.
In the demanding world of oil and gas, precision, safety, and efficiency are non-negotiable. Unmanned operator drone services revolutionizes how you monitor, inspect, and manage your operations. With cutting-edge technology and expert operators, we deliver real-time data, detailed reports, and actionable insights for our valuable clients. Why risk the safety of your team or waste precious time? Our drones access even the most challenging areas with ease, reducing downtime and enhancing safety across your sites. We take the guesswork out of your projects by offering LiDAR, mapping, and inspection services so that your projects stay safe, on budget, and on time. Unmanned operator drone services, where technology meets safety, precision, and efficiency. Contact us today to elevate your operations. Yes, pun intended.
Enjoy Minot's finest authentic Mexican cuisine with a view at Mi Mexico. The rooftop patio is open and ready for you to enjoy a margarita or other cool refreshment along with genuine mouth-watering Mexican entrees. Mi Mexico, South Broadway.
Well, hi.
Hey,
We're back.
jump into a comment that was made earlier from the one, the only Miranda Schuler.
Oh, no.
Shaved the entire head beard too.
No, I can't lose the beard. Can't
So
go.
you would go
Can't go-
full like,
I'll go full Walter White look.
but just no beard. Or you got to keep the beard.
I got to keep the beard. I can't do them both. I'll look like I'm 8. I wouldn't like that.
Maybe I will do the shaving.
I wouldn't like that. I'd be carted everywhere again.
Well, that's probably good for you, buddy. It's probably good for you. All right,
Let's continue with city council.
keep it to that
And
subject.
also,
Is that
I guess,
safer?
that while we're on that note, I don't think we're going to be able to do it live today,
Yeah, we're not doing it live today.
but
We have another interview right after this,
yeah,
and
so
we don't want her
we can't
everywhere.
make the studio a hot mess. And so what we're going to end up doing is we will, over the weekend, we'll get together, we'll shave it, we'll film it, do a little thing with it, and we'll play that for you guys on Tuesday.
It's gonna be a good time.
it'll be something.
We're looking forward to it. I am, at least.
Then let's go ahead and let's keep going on
Yeah,
city
the
council.
sales tax.
Yep.
So
They decide to take
second
a-
reading, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's coming back, and are we going to actually, make this amendment to the sales tax ordinance in which we take this half penny and make it a little bit more
Flexible.
flexible? Yeah, I think that was the big word that I was going to say amendable, but that's not it. Flexible for the council and how they're going to use it in the long haul.
Keep the eyebrows, bro.
I better keep the eyebrow.
How about this? It's no hair on top and no eyebrows or no beard.
I guess I'd say no beard.
Hey, we got it.
Over eyebrows, yeah.
Got it.
If you make me pick, gun to my head kind of thing.
Okay. So, city council, they have this second reading, and then there was an amendment placed on it that said, not only would we pay for the chamber EDC, would that come out? Well, actually, before we jump into that, let's make clear what this half cent sales tax did previously.
Yeah.
Money went towards economic development, property tax relief,
Yep.
and maybe one more other thing. I cannot think of it off the top of my head.
A little bit was a little bit flood control.
Maybe.
Yep.
That sounds about right. So they'd be off on that, but it went towards a few things. And basically the idea was that we would put more money where it could go towards several things and reduce the amount that was required to go to economic development.
Yeah.
That's what was going on. But the chamber EDC would still be paid for. The portion that the city gives to the chamber EDC would still be paid for out of that economic development percentage of that half penny. And so the amendment was to say, all right, that's fine, but let's do at least 900,000 goes towards it, and then anything above that can go to anything.
Because the chamber itself costs what is like 600,000 to 700,000 to
it's
run
in
it.
there.
Yeah.
Well, not to run it, but that's how
Well,
much the city gives it.
fund. Yeah, the city puts into it. Excuse
Right.
me.
So that amendment failed. And the idea was well, some of the comments was we keep flexibility with everything else. Why would we take away our flexibility here? That was some of the commentary on it. What do you think of that amendment?
I understood the reasoning behind it. Like, you want to guarantee that economic development in the chamber get not just, the bare minimum, but also get some additional on top to make sure it's able to spread around. Can't fault that logic. However, I think Samuelson made the best point, which mostly in these things you see percentages, you don't see dollar amounts. And I'm not sure if a physical dollar amount is the best thing to put a barrier in for that. Like, and you can argue that, okay, so what, are you going to put a percentage in? Is that going to be better? You put, 5% is guaranteed for this or whatever kind of thing. Probably not the better move either there.
So then look at the core issue. Are you a fan of...
That's where I was going to get to. Yeah. Like, do you actually want to see that, the guaranteed money go towards it? And I want to say yes to a degree, but I don't know if it necessarily has to come this way. And okay, so then on the flip side, so what you're going to say is it come out of the general fund then? And I don't know if that, I think
people are vehemently opposed to that.
To that, yes. And that's where I was going to say, I don't know if you can do that. So I think you have to take it out of sales tax. And right now, especially so, maybe in the future, they'll work some things around. But right now, sales tax is the modem for it to, or the medium for the funding for it.
That's a big circle right there.
It was.
And I guess right here already you have a minimum that's coming out to cover chamber.
Yeah, that's 650 or whatever.
Yeah, so what, there's no dollar amount for that? Like,
that's true. Yeah, I don't know how that's specified in the budget itself, but no, I see what you're saying with that. I don't know if you can, okay, so move on to the bigger point at hand. Do you think that the $900,000 should be guaranteed for the economic development? I want to say yes and no. I want to see that money go towards economic development. I know I'm copping out a little bit here.
That is really non-committal today.
I know. The hair, the beard, everything.
Okay.
So yes, I want to see the money go towards economic development. I think that that's prudent and that's a good move. However, I'd never like seeing things earmarked to that degree maybe, but I don't know if
right now it's earmarked more substantially.
That's true. And it's probably going to stay that way too now.
See, and that's the thing. See, I originally at the time of it, I was like, no, let's just get this thing passed. Mm-hmm. Honestly, as I thought about it today, I'm like, it probably wasn't all that bad, because if you could make that more permanent, I don't know that I would disagree with that. And I know like there's people that are going to hammer me for that. That's fine. Hammer me for it. But the thing is
what happened?
I view the city is not a business, but if you're going to have a successful business, you have to put money into marketing and you have to put money into sales.
Yeah.
You have to. So otherwise it will eventually stop being able to grow. And I think that that's what economic development does. Now, I think that some of the stuff that's going on with economic development, I don't agree with. Mm-hmm. I don't like what's going on. And that's needs to be relooked at. And so perhaps maybe there's nothing for that extra $200,000 to $300,000. There's nothing that would be specifically being done with it. And and so, okay, that's fair. And so maybe right now that's not a good idea. But what if you were able just to cut down dramatically the amount that was going to economic development and say, hey, yeah, it'll just be $900,000. We don't really want to look at raising it again. Mm-hmm. And
no, I'm not opposed to that when you explain it out. However, here's my one counter thought to it. So you're taking this out of the sales tax. Say you guarantee the dollar amount. Say sales tank for a year. And all of a sudden now everything else has to have, less dollar amount go towards it, but you're still guaranteeing this one item. Is that the right move?
Well, but that goes back
to... I know it's a stretch with sales tax,
no,
but
you're fine. It's not even that, because that goes back to the principle of what kind of things should be funded out of sales tax.
That's fair.
Now, in a dire situation, which I think would be that stretch that you can't even barely provide the $900,000 without paying for some of the flood control. But when you talk about property tax relief coming out of sales tax, well, I mean, while that's great when it works, it's something where if it doesn't work, it's just property tax relief. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. And I'm for lower property taxes. I'm for reducing budgets to get there. Mm-hmm. I'm for those things, but having sales taxes being the main conveyor is, I don't know if I'm fully on board with that whole thought process. Yeah. Although when you have it as a property tax relief, if you say, okay, we're going to pay for this out of sales tax, then okay, that's fine. But when it's just straight property tax relief, I don't know if I'm as fan of that.
That's fair, and especially with the variations that you can get from it. I don't love that okay, short term, it's a good move, I think. Right. I don't think there's any issues with it, but 3, 4, 5 years from now, who knows if that's the right call.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm kind of at with that one at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like immediately, yes, keep it as is. Long term, maybe more reevaluation needs to happen.
I would have definitely been happy to see that sales tax change pass without the amendment. I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with that amendment coming maybe in a future year, because I think getting that passed would have been a good thing. So at the core, I do. The whole idea, though, when you look at it at a more broader scope, is should we have a minimum? Not even a minimum. Should we just have an amount that goes towards that's higher than just what the chamber gets? I don't know. I think that's a decent question.
That is, and I think that's. I think it goes back to the little bit of the conversation we had on Tuesday with Alderwoman Lisa Olson. Maybe this is one of those things that instead of it being an all or nothing kind of deal, it can have some ebbs and flows. Like, you're going to guarantee that it gets its minimum.
I agree with this.
$650,000 in funding. That's probably a guarantee. But then there's going to be some years where maybe you put $2 million into it.
That goes back to almost a percentage base. I don't know that it needs to ebb and flow that much. Why would it need to ebb and flow that dramatically?
That's fair.
Unless if there's a specific project
that's coming up.
Which then the argument against what you're saying is then we already have that set up, because you can go and put that in your budget, and then you can say this discretionary money that we have from sales tax we're actually going to put towards that project.
Yeah. And it can just be earmarked specifically for that project at that point, which that's fair. I guess it's pretty much, do you want to give the chamber or, economic development dollars more freely out to people at that stage?
It's the magic fund, and it's already, it's
That's
the facade program, it's the Renaissance zone, it's those things, and those programs specifically, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of those programs. They've ran their course. They've done their job, and it's time to move on and figure out some other way.
Or at least reevaluate.
Yeah, reevaluate
forward. Yeah,
for sure. Look at some other way of accomplishing similar goals, maybe, or reevaluate that you even need to be accomplished anymore. And I'm totally in that discussion right there. So to be very clear, like if on people. I don't know. I feel like there's a middle ground that we can go on this that would actually be very productive to the city. But to go and just say, all right, we're done with economic development, I'm not there. And nobody's trying to get rid of the Chamber EDC. They do good work.
Completely, as we're seeing with North American Iron.
Yep, we are. And that's just the one that's at the very front center. There's other projects that go on that I think are good things for the city of Minot that help many industries in Minot.
100% on that. And so with this vote that ended up playing out, guess what?
Well, let's let people that were there.
Let's let them explain.
Kind of break down what happened.
Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Blessom.
So can I get a clarification from the finance director and or the city attorney on what the heck we just did to our budget? I think we've just flushed a whole portion of it.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I think this would be on the revenue side of the ledger, so the appropriation would still stand. It would then, we would be short essentially just about $1 million in general fund in the revenue side. So then it would be, I guess, our job to either find the cuts to offset that, or it would be additional reserves that would be utilized.
So suddenly we're at a budget shortfall.
All of a sudden there's $1 million that needs to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Jeff Hader mentions, didn't Samuelson say he wanted to get rid of the EDC or at least funding to it? He did. This happened last budget cycle where he made a proposal, a motion to go ahead and not fund the Chamber EDC because of some of their advocacy work. For him, I believe, well, I don't want to say that for sure, but it seemed like it's more of a statement deal that he didn't actually anticipate to pass.
If I remember right, and maybe I'm off by one, I think it was a 6-1 vote against it.
Right, yeah. But I think that definitely stuck out to the chamber because we saw them show up in numbers to the
this year. Yeah, in full
public hearing
force.
for the budget. But the concern, once you really focused in on that concern that they have, it wasn't that they were going to be defunded by the city. It was that it wasn't going to come out of sales tax. And that's part of the fight that's going on here, is to make sure that the chamber and other economic development stuff continues to come out of sales tax pennies. Because if it doesn't, if it comes out of general fund dollars, then you now have to say, should we invest in a facade program versus investing in the police department?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to use $5 million. Where should we put it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a lot easier to get the support of the people to go and put that money towards the police department than it is a facade program.
Yep. 100%.
And that's where that amendment people didn't love, because they wanted that flexibility for it. And I don't know.
I can't blame them for wanting the flexibility on the surface of it.
Can't blame for that. I where it comes down for me is, and we're going back to the conversation we just ended, but just to where I'm purely at is, I don't know that I love all the economic development work that we're doing in the city. I think there's certain things that we're doing well on and that need to be continue along, but don't go so far as just to stop completely.
Yeah. There might be a couple things that it's time to sunset them. But as a general, it's still something that needs to happen. And why not?
That's my concern, is that we go so far where suddenly we're no longer doing it.
Yep. That's
Minot should be appealing to people to come. But if you want to get large projects, then it's going to take work, and it's going to take some expenditure.
And it takes advocacy on that behalf. You need people to go out there and, I don't love the term, but lobby for you. I know.
Wow.
Might have found a better
Shocker.
word, but there you go. Yeah, it's crazy.
We got Joe Goldaddy mentioning, morning, gentlemen.
The legend.
I once let Perry Olson cut my hair on live TV. Just saying.
Oh, see, it's perfect. Do I have it in here? No, I left it out.
He has a razor somewhere.
I left it out. I brought it with just in case.
Good times.
Yeah.
All right, so we heard the concerns from Alderman Blessum and explained by Finance Director Dave Lakefield that, hey, we now got $900,000 that we got to figure out how to fix in the budget. My guess is we're not finished yet. That next council meeting, we see these things happen. We see things go away, and then the next council meeting, they come back in a little more revamped way to get it through. And perhaps there'll be some kind of amendment that comes back to make it where the sales tax numbers look a little different.
Yeah. Or, I mean, absolute worst case, if not that, I assume it'll just come out of reserves. And they'll buy it down for a year, and then they'll have to deal with it next year.
Potentially. But
That's
I mean,
the easy-
in
that's
the
the easy way
president's
out.
letter, though, and this is the part where is interesting. In the president's letter, the suggestion was to go from 15 to 10%.
Yep.
15% currently going to economic development, lowering that to 10%.
Yep.
So at a minimum, you would think that there would be a
Consensus to at least.
motion that would come back and say, all right, we didn't get the full revamp that we were looking for, but let's at least get it to that 10% mark.
I could see that coming forward.
Something because of,
Seeing that
because
extra 5% distributed out, however. At that stage.
how can there not be 4 votes for that?
Yep. No,
There still could not be 4 votes, but
Yeah. Well, and again, we forgot to mention, I think we might have on Tuesday, we forgot to mention this. The vote that actually went through to
he's gonna say it.
negate the cap was one of the more interesting ones we've seen. I mean, at least,
it.
what, do you not want me to? I mean, you had, in a 4-3 vote, you had Aldermans Pittner, Hayes, and Blessum voting against, and then you had Alderman Olson, Samuelson, Fuller, and Mayor Janser voting for. And that's a very interesting block that I don't think we've seen yet.
Yeah, there was a lot of unique blocks that were going on this time, for sure. If that's what we're calling them today, blocks.
Voting blocks, I guess. Yeah,
Interesting.
I don't know. But I think that kind of wraps up the city council meeting from last week. Expect more to be coming for it in that first meeting in November. I would definitely expect to see something coming back on this in one way or another, whether it be, like you said, they come back and try to just to get that 10% onto it, or if it's something where they just say, hey, give it $1 million out of reserves, we'll come back next year.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some discussion, but I don't think we're done, and it may even be different than the what I'm saying with the 10%. I don't think we're done with what's going to happen concerning that sales tax. I think there's still some work that's going to be done on that.
For a fact. Would expect to see that. Is there any? I think that's it for city council.
Yeah, that's
Final
mostly.
thoughts you have on it? I think it was a good meeting for the most part.
Yeah, short.
Yeah.
The point.
Got what they needed done.
Good discussion from the bar owners of Minot.
Well, on that point, if we're wrapping up city council, I've got some headlines for you.
He's got some headlines. Let's hear him.
First one, shout out to the legend
local.
Charles Crane out at the Minot Daily News covering Daniel Brejo case, a story we've been talking about for a while as well. Some new updates in it. The judge is asked to reconsider the plea agreement.
Boom, boom,
Yep.
boom.
Both parties said that, they negotiated in good faith and diligently to find that, resolution.
Oh, that was the wrong one.
That was
My
not
bad.
the right one.
It said exactly what I said, but it was not the right one. So I apologize about that.
It's all good. You tried.
Yeah.
But I don't know for a fact when the judge has to get back to it on. However, there is a request out to Judge Eldweek to reconsider that plea agreement, which hopefully he does not, and he continues the path he has already chosen, and
Right.
we can see this go to trial next year.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'd be good for this to go to trial.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Another big one here in town that apparently has taken Minot by storm online, which everyone loves the ground round again. The ground round is closing, folks, if you haven't seen or heard.
When's the last time you went to the ground round?
Pre-COVID. I mean,
All right, so it's your fault.
It is. I agree. I won't deny it. I should go. I live near there. I should go there more, but I don't, and it is what it is. But now news is coming out that it's closing, and I've heard that it's just been slammed there the last few days.
I mean, there's
Everybody's got to get that
all right.
popcorn.
Yeah. There's certain restaurants though. Not restaurants. There's certain places you go for nostalgia.
Ground round's one of them. I'll say that.
Right. And honestly, it was
Shots.
probably a little bit underrated.
It was. It was never bad. I never had a bad experience at the ground
exactly.
round.
Exactly.
I know they always had.
Yeah, that's right. They actually closed yesterday. I saw that.
Oh, so they're closed.
Yeah,
Closed
they
now.
closed.
They're done. Yeah. Rest in peace, ground
I
round.
remember that now. Yeah, they were.
That's why they
had
were
to
so
make changes.
busy.
Some unexpected things came up, or something was what they said, and it was yesterday.
In theory, that's a great location still, though.
Yeah.
You're connected physically to the hotel.
Yeah,
And you're
but-
right across the street from the fairgrounds.
And that the Clarion seems to be doing well because that motel has gone through a lot of stuff over the past like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
That place got flooded. It was the Holiday Inn Riverside back in the day.
It just became the Mouse River for.
Yeah, shout out Joe Goldaddy. They had a camera on the roof of that hotel for the
nice.
flood back in the
Nice.
day for live video of that. I
Yep,
remember
yep.
that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's epic.
Yeah. Rest
There's
in peace.
still one in Bismarck.
Yeah, ground round in Bismarck. If you are desperate to get your ground round cravings in, head down to Bismarck. That'll be your best bet.
What's another news headline?
Last
all you
week,
had?
last weekend, we had the No Kings rallies again across the country and the state.
Thoughts on that?
Minot had, from what I've been told and heard, it was a good turnout. I've heard some conflicting reports to that, but from everything I've seen in the news and from people that were there, it was a good turnout. It's getting a little repetitive on that notion, but at the same time, I love to see people turn out for those events in general. So, again, a cop out by me there, but I
mean, for advocacy stuff,
Love
it's
to see it.
Probably a good thing.
Yep.
Do you feel like anything will come of it? Because typically you do something like that and you want there to be a part of a bigger game, right? You don't just do it just to do it.
Does the
Say you
government
did it.
open up because of that? I don't think so.
Maybe. There's rumors that it will.
Has it yet?
Hasn't yet, but there was rumors that they were waiting until after that happened.
To try to get some work done. So maybe something
find-
happens
yeah.
today.
Right.
Never know.
Who knows?
It's still short of what 7 years ago. I think 2018 was the longest one we had. It was like a little over a month, like 3 days, something along those lines.
Gotcha.
And now I think we're at about 3 weeks now. We're sitting at here, and I think October 1st was so I think we're at 23 days now.
23 days.
And
that looks like
on that same note, then I did see. Gosh, what was it?
the longest shutdown lasted 35 days.
35. Okay. Spirit Lake Tribe here in the state declared a state of emergency because of that. Because at the end of this month, SNAP and other benefits are going to start ending. And so Spirit Lake, I'm sure you're going to see a couple others probably follow this suit, declared a state of emergency because of the lack of.
Do you have a solution for this government shutdown?
No.
He's going, no. That's rare. I feel like
not a good one that anyone would like.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody at this stage in the game of politics is going to like a budget that's passed.
Yeah,
right?
that's fair.
So it is just what it is, right?
I mean, the initial one would have just been past the CR and put it off for another 2 months.
We could still do that.
Yeah.
That's still a possibility.
3 weeks in at this point, I think they've sailed that ship.
I don't know that they have.
Probably not. They'll probably, and see, that's the thing. It's going to be this big grandstand thing where they fight for a month.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go back and they're going to end up passing the continued resolution and just put it back for 6 months. And
the
then we'll
exact
fight this
amount
thing
of
over.
SNAP benefits issued to Ward County residents in the month of September was $882,000, $882,693. That's a lot of money, almost $1 million.
Shout out Miranda.
Yeah. So, and this is another thing that's happening now is they're finding ways to pay certain groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't know if I love that.
I get what you're saying with that. I don't like cherry picking.
It's the cherry picking, but it's the deal of that's part of the reason why we have to work together to figure out this problem before we get here.
You know,
rather than be like, oh, we cannot lose these employees, so we'll make sure they get paid. Like, are you insane?
Yep, you make a great point with that.
No. That should be the pressure of, okay, we can only have a 7-day government shutdown. Otherwise, we're going to start losing employees.
Yeah.
And guess what? This is the part that irritates me the most about this portion of it. If any other business went and did this, then they'd be calling the AG's office. They'd be like, this guy is running his business. He's not paying his employees. He's still asking them to show up and work. This is completely wrong. They'd call the AG's office and they'd be like, this is fraudulent business activity that's going on right here.
Yeah.
But the government does it. And they're like, yeah, let's look at that.
Everyone,
that is bipartisan right there. That is not one side or the other. That is a bipartisan issue.
Yep.
That I agree. If you are involved in a government shutdown as a senator or as a representative, then there should be consequences.
I agree. Guess what? Next year's a year.
Yeah, no, but consequences way more major than getting
out.
Yeah, because when you start messing with their insider trading, which allegedly, or other stuff, that's
they
when
get all worked up.
That's when they get worked up. They get worked up about elections, but they'll work their way through an election. But if
90% of candidates that run for re-election are re-elected anyways. So,
right, yeah, incumbency is a terrible thing. Just kidding. But if you start taking away their pay, stuff like that, that's when major things happen.
That's what should be occurring.
They should not even be paid for the time that the government shut down.
No, not even remotely. They shouldn't get back pay either.
No back pay. No.
And so now,
matter of fact, they should be fined.
Yeah, right. Start making them pay.
Yeah.
They should have to be paying their entire staff's salary during this point.
So there should be something dramatic that goes on here.
But guess what? They'd have to do that to themselves. So
that won't happen.
You betcha, unfortunately. But I would like to see something.
If you had term limits at the federal level, there's a chance that would happen. Because outgoing people could get so frustrated that they'd be like, hey, let's pass this.
Hose the next ones. No, I like back to the point you were making earlier. I don't like seeing the cherry picking because I know people that are affected and are laid off and aren't working right now. Yeah, we live in Minot. We live in a base town.
Yeah.
How many people, literally the military are still working day to day, doing their jobs, not getting paid for this.
And you have the actual Air Force and then you have the...
all the subsidiary people and complementary people that work on base, whether it be contract specialists, people that work at, I think the commissary is still open, but people that work on all those auxiliary roles around the base aren't getting paid and they don't know if they're going to get back pay at this point. So how long can you expect them to continue to stay laid off for before they start looking for other work?
Absolutely. Then you also have the airport that's here. You have a lot of different places that federal dollars get to.
Yep. Any kind of national park, anything like that. Good thing it's coming to winter, so we're not going to have to worry about that up here, but other places they will.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Bad deal. I know that key players listen to our podcast and take what we say is valuable stuff. They treat it like gold. They take action based off of it. So to you that are listening, get that government back open.
But for real, it's time. Let's get a good budget out there, or let's get something passed and get it opened. And I
think, this is my personal opinion, and obviously we don't go into federal stuff too much because it's just safer that way. But at the end of the day, I think we can get the continuing resolution passed. I think that could happen. I think that's something that has passed before and could pass again.
Yeah.
And I know that there's more things that are tried to be brought into it. But at the end of the day, that continuing resolution is that CR bill.
Yeah.
Just let it pass.
Get it through and get into next year, and then it'll be an election year, so they can all fight over it during the election year. Then they'll have to pass something.
The big deal with it is the health insurance, which obviously at this point needs to be just re-looked at overall. I think going and slapping Band-Aids on stuff forever isn't going to work, and that's basically what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we've been doing that for 25 years. And
so look at the whole game, man.
$35 trillion in debt now. So
38. Just broke 38.
See, there you go. We're paying more yearly on our debt payments than we are funding our military, and we have the highest funded military in the world.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
It's all matter of national security now.
Yeah, it'll buff.
Everything is.
Yep. Everything is. You're right. Oh, gosh. But hey, next year's an election year, folks.
Cool. So who are you voting for?
We'll see who runs. And that's you segued me there perfectly.
Yes.
I don't know if it was intentional or not. Okay, good. So next year, all of a sudden, now that not just nationally, which of course nationally you got to worry about that too, because we're going to have our congresswoman is going to be up for re-election, as well as a lot of statewide offices this year going to be coming up for election. But here in Minot locally, it's time to start thinking about next spring.
It's time to start thinking about if you're going to run.
Yeah. So if you have a thought about running, it's about time to start getting that thought process rolling, because if you're not really doing it by January into early February, you're going to start missing the ball.
You are late.
I think mid-March is the deadline to get your signatures turned in to be on the ballot, if I remember right. And we already know that Mayor Mark Janser plans to run for re-election. It's been stated that Josiah Royce wants to run for mayor again.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
And do you think we see a third person pop into that race, or does that one?
I think we see a third person. I think the larger question on that is the third person, someone that we have seen run before. And that is, I don't know the answer to that
That's
question.
fair. So you think it'll be at least a three-way mayor race next year?
I think so.
That's fair. Then on that flip side, we have the city council up as well. 3 seats going to be coming to election next year. And Alderwoman Lisa Olson's been pretty committed to saying she doesn't plan to run next year. Alderman Mike Hayes, who you had an interview with, said he's probably going to wait for the winter to kind of wrap up before he makes his decision. I would say probably.
Yeah, I kind of think so.
I would assume he does. And then Alderman Paul Pittner.
You think he runs?
I don't know. That's kind of the wild card for me, is what he ends up deciding to do.
Yeah, at one point he wasn't going to.
Yep.
And then the mayor race changed everything.
Yep. And now who knows? Because I don't believe he's committed to saying he doesn't plan to run since then.
Yep.
But who knows at this point? I'm sure we're going to see a wide and contested race come next, February, March. I bet.
How many candidates do you think are going to be in the game for city council?
If I remember right, last year there was 7. I don't think we see less than that.
We don't see less than last year.
How
do you do a debate like that?
That'll be a tough one. An 8-wide debate. They get tough on TV, so it'll be interesting how we can swing that one.
I think what we do is have a buzzer system, or there's some other prowess to get the question. So we throw the question out there in some way, whether it's a piece of paper, they all have to fight over the question and then they can answer it.
It's like Family Feud. First one to hit the button.
Family Feud, and then
gets to answer.
Allows some kind of rebuttal system. No, that'll be interesting. Hopefully there's a debate that actually happens. But yeah, there could be a lot of candidates, and it seems like there's a lot of people that are engaged, even at council on Monday. Yeah. There was one of the people in the public comments that said, hey, maybe I need to go run.
I have to run herself.
I have to run,
yeah. That was one thing we talked about for all those people that applied for city council position that Mike Hayes got. I expect a couple of them at least to run next year.
I do too. And that's going to be exciting because there was some, that was some exciting stuff that was going on. Yeah. There was a lot of passion that was beginning to be shown in some of those speeches that were given.
And I love to see that. Love to see the engagement. Love to see the passion. Want to at least, I think we'll take a little credit for it in our year and a half we've been doing this. I think we've helped drive that engagement at least a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, at least between the two of us.
Yes.
We're more engaged.
We are for sure.
So we have
there's at least
we have driven engagement for sure.
Yeah. Shout out Pops back at home. I know he watches city council now because I do this.
Hey, I love it.
At least one person.
There you go. All right. There's other places that you can vote for than just city council. So keep it moving. What
Yep.
are some of the other things in the area?
Oh, for next year, you're going to
Yeah.
also have the Attorney General race is going to be up next year.
I mean,
You're
I
gonna
mean,
have-
like,
you're gonna-
in the Minot area.
Okay, you're
man.
going to have county commission is also. I
Yes.
think that's what you wanted me to talk about. County commission next year as well. You're
Yes.
going to have the county chair, John Feldall, is going to be up for re-election. I believe Jason Olson is the other one that is up for election. So 2 of the 5 chairs are going to be open next year for that as well.
right.
It'll be, who knows about those 2? Maybe Jason Olson may or may not run. I know if Lisa's not, that, who knows where that will lead him
That's
to
a
decide
lot
at
of
that point. That's a lot of pure speculation there.
Speculation going on right there.
Who knows what either of them do? Maybe they both run again. Maybe neither of them do. But it'll be an interesting one to see what that, because last year it
That's
was really
purely being to clarify. They're not a package deal.
No,
what,
no.
What is being said is if one's retiring, maybe because it's been said I'm going to retire from city council, maybe the other one is feeling the same and they're wanting to, and it just so happens that the election years line up. That's the speculation that goes there.
on that. Yes, that's where that comes from. And also maybe Feldall and Jason both run again. Who
Yeah,
knows? Like,
right, for sure.
And but where I was going last year, that was an interesting race because it was a 3-wide candidacy last year, and you only had 2 people get the vote, the signatures needed by the deadline to run on the ballot. So if you remember, last year we had
I
to
remember.
audience, our dear viewers, if you remember, last year there was a initiative to get on the ballot via write-in vote, and you had, I think, 5 or 6 people try to do it that way, including Miranda Schuler, who did end up getting on via that route, and it ended up working out well, I think, overall. Like, we ended up having like a 5-person race last fall when it finally got to that point, and now we have those 3, and now next year we get to see who runs against those 2, if anyone, or if they even run again.
Did they not all? Did write-ins? Were write-ins the only ones that got on?
No, there was also no. Excuse me. No, there was the two people that did get on the ballot. It was Shelley Wepler and Jedediah
Right.
Rader.
But the ones that got elected were all write-ins.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Yep, without a doubt.
Interesting stuff there. Also, we have and this comes from Miranda Schiller, we also have a park board and a school board.
It's true.
Hey, you know what?
Two school
Engage
board
in your
seats
school
and-
board.
Yeah, 2 school board seats are up, and I'm not sure if it's the 1 or the 2 of the park board this year. I have to double check that one.
Engage in your school board, man. Do that. And then there'll be statewide stuff.
Yeah, Secretary of State, Attorney General, a lot of those auxiliary positions are going to, State Auditor, a lot of those are going to be up this year.
Are there going to be people that run against them? Seems like half the time there's not.
Probably not.
There'll probably be
Oh, wait, do you mean in the primary or in the general?
in the general.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There'll be contested races.
Yep.
It'll still be 70-30 because it's how it works here.
Dakota.
But
We had an interview with the chair of the Indy GOP,
did?
and that released yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was a really good interview. I'm not slapping myself on the back. I mean,
I would. You did a great job, Jonathan.
Okay, great. But he had some great answers and great perspectives that were shared. You may or may not agree with them, but I feel like there were some good topics that are really relevant to where the party's at right now.
Yeah.
And
Also
for the
future of
Republicans,
where they're kind of going to.
I think it's worth listening to.
Without a doubt.
So that's a good interview to catch if you have time. It's 30 minutes. We've been trying to cut down the length of them a little bit. Maybe make it where you can
Yeah, some of this long form stuff, not everyone loves all the time.
the hour stuff.
Got to make it as consumable as possible for everyone back at home. But
Odd legislative districts are up too, I believe. You're right. We had an interview with Bob Paulson, Senator Paulson. That comes out tomorrow.
yep, District 3, District 5.
His district's up for re-election.
Yep, he's Senator Paulson's District 3. He'll be up as well as Representatives Jeff Hoverson and Lori Van Winkle.
Yep.
Then District 5 is going to have Senator Randy Burkhart and then Representative Scott Lauser and
And who else?
I'm blanking.
Yeah, I forget who the other one is. I was hoping you knew it. I knew those two.
It was right there on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, you're going to have those up for election. We'll have to wait and see if we end up seeing anyone try to primary.
Jay Fisher.
Jay Fisher, of course. See if there's any primary challenges in these, or if all 6 of them decide to run again too. Who knows? But I think regardless of term limits, they'll all have at least one more term to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of exciting stuff there. Where do you, in the Minot area, where do you see the most heavily contested at the legislative? What district?
District 3,
District 3.
I would say over 5. Yeah,
I would agree.
I think that has the likelihood, just with the sheer, everything the talk that was coming about it over the last year. I think that has the most likelihood of having a contested primary.
Be interesting.
It will. I look forward to it. And we'll be here to tell you all about it.
We will. We'll have some interviews. It'll be a good time. Looking forward to it. If you have any questions, send them in. You can email us at info@mydakotan.com. Be sure to like and subscribe. Join that Dakotan community. We've reached 1K.
Be one of those
and
1,000.
now,
What's the next goal?
well, we got one. We got internal goals now.
When we get close, we'll let you know.
When we meet them, we'll let you know.
But again, thank you everyone for tuning in as always. Everyone for watching, participating, engaging. We appreciate every single one of you.
What I was going to continue to say, though, I agree with what
I
Kyle
cut
said.
him off. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. It was good words. What I was going to continue to say, though, is if you or someone you know that would be a good fit to talk city politics, city stuff. It doesn't even have to be politics. It can be whatever. Just a good
About the
guest
city.
for the show. Let us know because we'd be interested potentially in having them on. We're working on reaching out to some more people. Monday, we have an interview coming out with CEO of the Minot Chamber EDC, Rebecca Kramer. Ooh. On Wednesday of next week, we have most likely an interview coming out with new Chief of Police,
Mr. Michael Fry.
Mr. Michael Fry. We're trying to get some solid stuff. So if you know somebody that might be a good fit for just a recorded interview or that might be have fun on the live setting,
come on,
let us know.
Yeah.
We'd be interested in potentially having them on. So thank you for staying tuned, being part of the Dakotan community, supporting us. We really appreciate it. It's been a fun ride, and we're just excited for where 2026 is going to take us.
Darn right.
Agree with everything that Kyler said on those sentiments. Thank you for watching this episode. And we'll be back this Tuesday, 9 a.m. Ready to rock.
Live.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day.